What's up, everybody? Isaac here, Civil Engineering Academy. Excited to be with you on another podcast episode. I'm excited today. I bring on a fun guest, Yara Hammad, who actually is from Egypt, that came to the United States, but she's awesome. She's got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and is a bridge engineer, earned her PE license, and really has just taken off by networking through the ASCE, using tools like Toastmasters, but we kind of detail her own journey and her career to becoming a civil engineer, and she has lots of good advice for people going through this journey themselves. I do have to apologize if you hear any sort of music in the background with kids playing the piano. It's because, well, I have 4 kids and someone's always doing something, and hey, I record this in my house, so you just got to deal with it. Roll with the punches, right? So anyway, I'm excited to talk to Yara. I think you're going to enjoy this interview. We do talk about courses and how they can help you on your PE journey. If you have a need to get your PE license, come check us out at civilengineeringacademy.com. We have an FE course, we have a PE course, and all of those will help you to become a professional engineer as well. So check that out. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring Yara on and we'll get right to it. See you in a minute. All right, we are live and going. Yara, how's it going? Thank you for being on the Civil Engineering Academy podcast.
Thank you, Isaac. It's my pleasure to being here with you.
Well, we're excited to have you on the show and talk about your experience in this world of civil engineering, and I'm sure there's some wisdom that will come out of our interview, but I always like to ask when I start these things maybe a little bit more about your own background, where you're from, and really how you found yourself into this world of civil engineering.
I'm from Egypt. I came here to the U.S. for school. I had my bachelor's degree in civil engineering and my master's degree in structural engineering. As to how I got into engineering, well, it's kind of a typical. Like when I was a kid, I loved geometry. I loved solving problems, but I also loved solving real life problems. And by real life, I mean, sneaking into my dad's toolbox, stealing his screwdriver, and going around, the house, taking things out. Like I recall, like I once took out, those electric plugs just to see how things work, and I got shocked. I mean, thankfully I'm alive.
Most parents would be slapping that out of your hand real quick, so I don't know what was going on there, but
well, I'm thankful I'm there.
Glad you're alive.
True, right? But at that sense, you think, okay, I want to pursue civil engineering because it combines both aspects, the theoretical one and the practical one as well.
That's very true. So, I mean, it sounds like you went far with that, though. You got a master's degree. What was the motivation to get a master's? And you earned all of your degrees in Egypt. Is that correct?
You mean like I earned up to high school degree?
Well, I guess take me through your education. Like, where were you? What did you earn? What was that like for you?
I mean, actually, in Egypt, I was in American high school. So I get to have the American curriculum. I took the SAT. So for me, when I came here to school, it is pretty easy for me, easily to transition.
I did not know that. So they have American high schools in Egypt?
Yes, we have actually different one. We have even British. I'm not sure. Even like in universities, there will be Canadian University, British,
Wow, that's very interesting. Well, that's cool. So you took an American high school, then you went to college there.
No, I came here for school.
Came here for school. Okay, where did we go to school here?
For my undergrad, I went to Cal State Northridge, and for my grad school, I went to Cal Poly Pomona.
Wow, that's awesome. And then you took the FE while you were still in school?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then the PE after you had some experience, or was that really close?
So yes, after I finished my master's degree, I started working. I took my PE.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, that's awesome. Wow, Egypt to here. Was it work that brought you here, or I guess what brought you over here to do civil engineering?
I came with my family.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Well, what have you enjoyed the most so far about being a civil engineer?
Well, I enjoy that my profession makes an impact, and you don't make an impact on only one person, but you make an impact on a whole community, while you continuously being challenged solving engineering problems.
Yeah, that's very true. civil engineers are vital to society. They affect everything from the water we drink to the buildings we're in. So, um, that's where we're at. But so you have dived into a specialty though. You're a bridge engineer. And so how did you find yourself to become a bridge engineer?
It is interesting. I knew from the beginning that I wanted to do infrastructures. I was kind of focused mainly into buildings, but then I got into work where you kind of they do not residential buildings, but some of that plus bridges. So I get exposed to bridges, and I find them more fascinating and more complicated, and I enjoy complex stuff. So
That's
I
very
got there.
true. So tell me about, I guess, civil engineering as a whole is typically dominated by male engineers. You're a female bridge engineer. What challenges have you experienced in that arena?
Well, it's not challenges from that aspect, but actually, I was reflecting back on my career and realized that throughout my career, I never had female leadership at work.
Okay.
Up until now, like I'm currently my supervisor, she is a woman. We have also other female leaders at work, and this got me into thinking because like the impact that it does for us. I'm not sure if you do you know if there's this article that says that men apply when they meet 60% of the qualifications, while women apply when they meet 100%. This is just a challenge, right? An example of the challenges that women face. So I feel like having a female leadership, they will be able to detect those blind spots in us women as we think, and they will be able to coach us. They will be able to support us.
That's fantastic advice. So, going back to that a little bit, do I guess women in general feel like they need to be 100% before they apply for a position then? Is that how, I mean, it sounds like that article resonated. So is that
It
kind of how you feel?
resonated with me because, okay, I guess I was the way I was thinking about it, that the reason could possibly be is how parents maybe raise their kids. Like
Mm,
if you have a boy, you pretty much will ask him to take more initiation, and it's okay to be more risk, right? Like no, like risk free. But a woman might have some restraints. Oh, you're a woman, maybe you're a lady, you cannot do that. So naturally, when they grow, men to be risk free, but women be more reserved. So if you think about it when you apply, okay, it can be still risky because if you do not meet the full qualifications, you'll be worried. What can I do? What if I did not do a good job? But maybe a man would not think the same way.
Yeah, we just kind of wing it, you know? Just kidding. Uh, maybe there's some truth to that, but I think men just read a position and there's more pay. They meet some of the qualifications. Let's toss our name in there and see, roll the dice. So yeah, I totally agree with you. There's definitely a difference there, and I can see that women, they're great and they want to be really good at what they're doing, and maybe that's holding them back from applying for stuff that they could totally get. So I think I really like your idea that seeing women in management positions can really help others underneath them and tutor them in a way that is helpful. So that's really good advice. Are there any other obstacles that maybe you have faced and how you overcame them personally?
I mean, not in a sense, the obstacles in a sense that I'm a female. I would say the obstacles as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yes.
Like
You want to
tackling problems, or just what are some issues you've seen as a bridge engineer?
not not as okay. As actually the greatest obstacle I would say was actually me starting the career.
Ah,
This is what's the hardest one, especially getting into structures.
it's a challenging field. So how did
It is.
you know, and I always tell people, when you start this journey, it's not an easy journey. And you end up having to jump through a lot of hoops that professors want you to do, and you got to do it their way. But you're going to learn a lot along the way. And if you stick through, through the end, at least for me personally, I've noticed that, I don't use everything that I learned in school, but it helps set kind of a baseline knowledge that there's a lot of other disciplines that do dive into these areas, and you know enough to know what's important and all the background information to it. If you needed to solve some problems, you probably could too. But I guess when you started the journey into structural engineering, how did you push through that challenge of knowing it was going to be a challenge?
When I graduated in 2014, and at that time it was very hard. I think the economy was still recovering. And when I'm not sure if people in in the same position when you graduate and you apply for a job, if you don't have a master's degree, it can be tough. But also if you don't have experience, even
Yes.
yeah, so it's really tough. So the way I see what happened to me, it was a cumulative way, in a sense that, okay, well, you already don't have a master's degree, so I needed to apply for a master's. I wanted to actually learn from new professors, meet new people. And one of the things also that helped me was working on myself. I know that I needed to work on how I present myself, the communication skills. And that's why I joined Toastmasters. Um, it helped me to grow those soft skills. So, when you go in an interview, you simply know how to communicate what you have, what are your thoughts, but also you know how to think on your foot. This was very, very rewarding. And definitely I joined professional organizations like ACE. I tried to get out of my comfort zone, join the boards, meet new people, grow my network. And
That's fantastic.
it is like little steps, but those actually helped me through the way to get to where I am today.
Yeah, it's hard to see that, when you're first starting, but the more you go, like those things really help out. And I applaud you for pushing through difficult things. I mean, even a tool like Toastmasters, where you're having to give speeches or things on the fly, is definitely a challenge. We'll make sure we link Toastmasters as a resource for engineers, because it's one of those things where it's like engineers need to learn people skills. How do you do that? And Toastmasters, I think, is a great option to do that. So I think even you jumping on this podcast with us may be, a leap as well. So thank you for doing this with us too.
Thank
So
you.
see, Toastmasters is paying off.
True, it is. It is.
Do you feel like, is it most engineers, do you feel like they could learn better people skills, better speaking skills as a whole? And do you feel like that's taught in school very well?
Actually, no, I don't think in a school there's much an emphasis on that. Yes, you go up and do presentation, but unless you actually take the effort and go out and join even debate teams, you will not grow as much if you just stick into your own zone. And I feel engineers, yes, do need to do that more.
Well, that's good advice. Well, Toastmasters is a great organization, so we'll make sure we link that. You told me earlier that your husband's also a civil engineer. So how do you help each other in this field? What's that like?
I feel like it develops this understanding. Our job can sometimes become demanding when you have, those tight deadlines. So there will be understanding, okay, I need to work this a little bit late. But although he is not into structures, he's into project management, and I'm in structures, and sometimes I do wish if he were. But the good thing is I feel we complement each other in a sense that we learn from each other. I learn some of his skills. If he discuss something like an obstacle or a challenge, I feel like I'm learning that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you guys meet in school? Was it structures class?
Actually, it's funny story because although we met once at Cal Poly, we actually met at ASC.
Wow. So you did a lot of networking over there. Okay.
Was unintentional.
Well, that's great. I think that's just really cool to have two people that are civil engineers married and working together. So
Absolutely, yes.
I love that you said there's an understanding there, because sometimes people don't understand the stress that may be coming with a submittal or something that's due and what's involved with that. So, that's very helpful. Well, diving, I guess, back into your own career, would there be any advice that you would share with women or men that are just starting out their careers in general?
Absolutely. I would advise that people to get out of their comfort zone.
Okay.
Join professional organization, grow your network, and most importantly, never say no to an opportunity that comes your way.
Always say yes.
Exactly.
Just don't burn out. Just kidding. No, that's a great idea. Um, it opens doors, right? And people get to know who you are, and
Yes.
they know you're a competent engineer, and all of a sudden you're applying for some work. So, uh, that's great advice. Well, I wanted to dive a little bit into your PE exam preparation, and if you had any tips for anybody preparing either for the FE or the PE exam that may be going into this world, the structural engineering world.
For me personally, I took courses. They helped me become organized and prepared. Um, for the PE, personally, I think like to wait a little bit after master's degree, because I know the having a master's degree usually allow you to maybe get your PE like after 1 year of work experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel maybe this is not enough. Maybe we actually need more work experience, or unless maybe this is in the structure sport. Not sure about the other disciplines.
Yeah, and in California, you can get it a little earlier than most states. So there's that. And I also know in California, you've got to take your survey and your seismic as well. So there's actually more
Yes.
fun stuff you get to do to get that license. I mean, that's a lot of test prep. So do you feel like there was anything you learned when you were preparing for that? I think courses are fantastic. We're a huge advocate of them. Whether it's with us, we have our own courses. You can check them out at civilengineeringacademy.com, or even with others. We just know that they can provide accountability. They provide you with structure, with homework, with exams, and things of that nature. And it's always good to have support. So we're also a big advocate of the courses. So, but any other tips that you would have? Because it sounds like you've taken a lot of exams.
Well, the only thing that helped me, especially when I was taking the surveying and seismic, was having cheat sheets because the time is very limited. I think it was about 2.5 hours, if I recall correctly.
Mm.
And oh gosh, you cannot, go through pages. If I have only those cheat sheets, they were very helpful. Those enough for me to go through instead of going through a whole book.
That makes sense. And the survey and the seismic is open book still. So.
Yes. I mean, when I took it, it was open book.
I think it still is. So keep that in mind too. So that's very helpful. Well, awesome. Is there any other, we've talked about Toastmasters as a really good resource for people, but is there any other good resources, a book, a blog post, or anything that has helped you in your own career?
It was actually meeting the people that helped me. I find that through every stage of my life, there was like people who I connect with and they were able to support me to the next step. If, for example, like in my first job, I recall it was my professor who referred me. And so eventually you meet others along the way. And with their support, you can grow to become, the most successful person you think you can be.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for jumping on. Is there any other tips of advice you'd like to share with anyone else out there?
No, there isn't, but I just want to emphasize never say no to an opportunity.
Excellent. Well, Yara, what's if people have questions, whether it's about your own journey coming here from Egypt or school or struggling with their exams, is there a way they can reach out to you?
Absolutely, they can reach out to me through LinkedIn. I'm a very good. I respond quickly.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure to link your LinkedIn profile in our show notes as well so people can reach out to you. But I appreciate you jumping on and doing this podcast with me.
Thank you so much, Isaac. I appreciate it too.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.